Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Surprise Jab Podcast. I'm your host, Zachary Ruger, surprising you with new topics every single week and jabbing you with your daily dose of UFC, and we're back. Wow. Almost a full week, basically a full week off. I mean, last episode I dropped was last Monday. Actually, by the time most people listen to this one, will probably be on Wednesday, November 29th. Wow, November almost coming to an end. It's been a great November. Pretty good November, good memories. Thanksgiving was amazing. Very nice seeing my family, seeing my cousin, my grandfather. Just amazing stuff all around. Hit up the casino, lost some money, watched a lot of football, predicted some games right, some games I didn't, but I mean, all's in good fun. Ate some good food. I'm trying to think what else I did over my Thanksgiving break. As always, had some drinks. Did a little Black Friday shopping, bought some stuff yesterday for Cyber Monday, but we'll keep that on the down low. Saturday, what I do, went out with my parents for a bit. Sunday, watched some football, went out with my folks, saw the girlfriend. Lots of fun stuff this past weekend, but we're back. 2 weeks left of my fall semester of my junior year of college. It's absolutely crazy. Time is just flying by, but I'm so incredibly blessed to be able to continue along in my college career, continue on in life. God continues to bless me and keep me going, keeps me moving along on the earth. But yeah, we're back. Got a fun one today. No UFC event this past weekend, which honestly always makes me sad. But we are back this next Saturday, December 2nd, UFC Austin, headlined by Arman Tsarukyan and Beneil Dariush, two top 10, including a top 5 lightweights in the UFC. Going to be a banger of a fight there. So we will be covering that entire card on the Thursday episode of the show. And Thursday is my actual last day of in-person classes. That actually makes me kind of sad. I've had an amazing semester. Seeing just meeting a bunch of people, experiencing everything through this IBE. Of course, my company, Evergrowing Co., we still have some sweatshirts available. They're actually discounted now at $40. If you guys want to check that out, that will all shut down at the end of the semester, which ends next week in December. Was that December 8th? I believe that is, yeah. So pretty crazy. Check that out if you want to. But back to what we'll be talking about on this episode. Of course, UFC Austin will be covered on the next episode. Of course, we'll be capping things off by recapping Week 12 of the NFL. Lots of interesting things, lots of shakeups, of course. Gonna be talking about all the what am I trying to say? All the football games that went down. I don't know what word was troubling me. It's Tuesday that this is dropping, but we're still gonna do a little movie Monday just because I watched 2 movies this past weekend. New UFC news, new just fights in general, new everything. And our surprise topic for this episode is I will be ranking my top 10 Christmas songs. That is right. It's the Christmas season. I personally love Christmas. It just puts me in this mood of joy. And I don't know what it is. Like literally the build up to Christmas, even like Christmas Day itself, it's so blessed. I will say the day after Christmas is kind of sucky because you're like, oh, that's pretty much the end of the holiday spirit. Now I just wait for a New Year's Day or Eve or whatever. But hey, you know what? We're gonna spread joy on this episode. Not gonna talk about anything sad like my semester ending, me not being able to see a bunch of my friends anymore, and the impending doom of the world. No, I'm just joking. But let's get into things with how we kick off every episode. We do it every single time, or most of the time, I should say. And that is new UFC news, new fights, new venues, all sorts of fun stuff. And we haven't checked in a week, so of course, lots of things have happened. So since we last spoke, which I'm trying to recall what day that was on. I think I recorded an episode on the what was it, the 20th? Okay, so anything since the 20th is going to be in some new fights that have been announced. So one of them is Marcos Rogero de Lima will be taking on Justin Tafa at UFC 298 on February 17th, 2024. If no one knows who either of these guys are, Marcos Rogero de Lima is, I believe he's still ranked. Yes, he's currently the 15th heavyweight in the UFC, fresh off his 32nd loss to Derek Lewis. That was a fun fight. He'll be taking on Justin Badman Tafa, who has found his way to now a 3-fight knockout streak. Absolutely incredible stuff from Justin Tafa. picking up a big one over Austin Lane, his last fight out. He's gotten performance of the night. He's even gotten a fight of the night. This guy is entertaining, and he's a future heavyweight fighter in the top 15. I believe he'll get done against Marco Sergio de Lima. But yes, Justin Tafa, keep your ears open for that name come February. Also going down next year, January 13th at UFC Vegas 84, Jim Miller is back against Gabriel Benitez. Jim Miller, fan favorite, lightweight legend. I believe he holds, is it the most wins in UFC history? I think it's wins. I don't think it might be finishes. But I think it's wins for sure. Jim Miller, an absolute legend. 36-17 professionally, 25-16 in the UFC. I mean, the guy just turned 40 in August. He's incredible. He's beaten he actually retired Donald Cerrone, beaten Clay Guida. He's actually beaten Charles Oliveira. That is right, the lightweight king, Charles Oliveira. We'll be taking on Gabriel Benitez, 7-6 in the UFC, 23-10 professionally. I'll say his biggest win is against Clay Collard, who fought for the PFL championship last time out. The PFL, of course, the Professional Fighters League, another popular MMA league. But I don't know what Gabriel offers to my boy Jim Miller, but Jim Miller should beat him. Jim Miller, I hope, actually makes it on UFC 300, as he has fought on UFC 100 and UFC 200, so that would be historic if he could fight on UFC 300. Now, that's probably going down in April, so a January to April turnaround is not unreasonable, but I do hope that it doesn't deter him too much. Some other interesting fights coming at us. That's right. We got a big one. That's right. Dana was dropping some Thanksgiving news on us. I was absolutely loving it. UFC Vegas 86, I don't love that's at the Apex, but going down February 10th, 2024, Jack Hermanson. That's right, Jack Hermanson, the number 10 middleweight in the world, will be taking on Joe Pyfer. That is right, Joe Pyfer, coming from Dana White's Contender Series, finished all of his UFC opponents, such an entertaining fighter, finally gets a shot in the top 15 as he takes on number 10 ranked Jack Hermanson. Jack's pretty much done nothing since 2020. I mean, he's gone win-loss pretty much in all of his fights. You know, he'll lose to someone like Jared Cannonier, beat someone like Chris Curtis. He'll lose to someone like Roman Dolidze, then beat someone like Edmund Shabazian. You know, he loses to top guys nowadays. But Joe Pyfer back. I love this guy. Perfect 3-0 in the UFC, 12-2 professionally. Big wins over Gerald Meerschaert and Abdul Razak Al Hassan his last two times out. As for Jack Hermanson, I mean, he is a legend. Of course, he holds wins over Kelvin Gastelum and Ronaldo Souza. I mean, I guess. I mean, not really a legend, but just a notable UFC guy. Definitely a, what's the word I'm searching for? Definitely a gatekeeper. Yes, a gatekeeper of the middleweight division. But, I'm not going to be picking him. I'll be rooting for Joe Pyfer come February. Big one also announced, I don't know if it's a big one, but I consider everything a big one, between Pedro Munoz and Kyler Phillips for UFC 299, March 9th, 2024. That's right, this is the same card as Sean O'Malley and Marlon Vera, so expect a lot of bantamweight fights to be announced. Pedro Munoz, currently the number 10 ranked bantamweight in the world, coming off of a win. I'm a bit surprised he's fighting unranked Kyler Phillips. Now, don't get me wrong, Kyler Phillips, he's 5-1 in the UFC, wins over Raoni Barcelos, Song Yadong, Gabriel Silva. He's a decent fighter, but I mean, take on someone in Pedro Munoz who's knocked out Cody Garbrandt, beaten Rob Font, beaten Chris Gutierrez. I mean, Pedro Munoz is a legit fighter. I figured he'd have been fighting upwards, but I guess not. He'll be taking on Kyler Phillips come, March? Wow, March will come at us before we even know it. And then UFC 300 will be upon us. Still hope it could be McGregor and Chandler. I'm honestly losing hope as, what's-his-face? Dana White said that Michael Chandler can sit out as long as he wants because he is financially set. So I honestly hope Michael starts spending some money so he has to get back in the octagon and fight Conor McGregor. But we'll see what UFC 300 brings us. A massive one for this upcoming card. This was pretty much the biggest news of the weekend, as Dan Hooker, of course, was supposed to fight Bobby Green in a 5-round co-main event at UFC Austin this upcoming Saturday. Dan Hooker currently ranked number 9 at lightweight. Bobby Green ranked 13th. Unfortunately, had to pull out. I don't know if it was his arm. I think it was his arm or his leg, which hadn't fully healed from his last fight against Jalen Turner in the summer, unfortunately had to pull out. So Dan Hooker will be out of action. Bobby Green left without an opponent. And who better to fight Bobby Green than the last man Dan Hooker fought than Jalen Turner. Number 12 ranked Jalen Turner, a spot higher than Bobby Green in the rankings, stepping in on, gosh, what is it? Just about a week's notice, probably like 8-9 days notice to take on Bobby Green in the co-main event. Now, it's only 3 rounds now due to it being short notice, but Jalen Turner, 6-4 in the UFC, big wins over Uros Medic, Brad Riddell, Jamie Malarkey. His last 2 fights, split decision losses to Dan Hooker and Matus Gamrot. Just very tough. Just very tough losses for him by split decision. He's excellent in round 1. He goes into the later rounds. He kind of struggles, but he's so good on the feet. He just kind of faded. So in Matus, let me just settle myself, okay? In the Matus Gamrot fight earlier this year, UFC 285, I believe it was. He basically won round 1, or he was winning on the feet against Matus Gamrot, but was just getting out-grappled, and he got himself too tired out and lost. In the summer, UFC 290 takes on Dan Hooker. Excellent round 1, and round 2 just about knocks him out, gasses out. Dan Hooker puts on the pace and wins. So I'm hoping he can get a win here against Bobby Green, but we'll see what Jalen Turner brings us this upcoming weekend. And I mean, Bobby Green, he's finished Tony Ferguson. He's knocked out Grant Dawson. He's knocked out Drew Dober. Bobby Green is on the run of a lifetime, getting his third main event, or not main event, but his basically one of his bigger fights going down this upcoming weekend. A potential to jump into the top 10. Keep your eyes open for this fight. And the last big official announcement that I'll touch on was Khalil Roundtree Jr., who is currently the number 11 ranked light heavyweight in the world, was supposed to take on number 12 ranked Azamat Murzakanov. Azamat had to pull out. They were actually supposed to fight this upcoming weekend. He pulls out, and guess who's stepping in to fight him? Number 8 ranked Anthony Smith. That is right, Anthony Smith, legend of the UFC, 37-18 professionally, fought John Jones for the belt in 2019. Anthony Lionheart Smith stepping in on short notice to take on Khalil, the Warhorse Roundtree Jr. Absolute killers both. Expect a knockout in this one. So Khalil Roundtree Jr. supposed to be fighting down, now gets to fight a top 10 guy. I think it worked out well for Khalil Roundtree Jr. This will be the co-main event on December 9th, UFC Vegas 83, so going down December 9th. That card was desperately in need of one more big fight, so that kind of saves it. Of course, the main event, Chris Gutierrez versus Song Yadong. Yes, I'm trying to remember. Supposed to be in Shanghai, China, but moved to the United States. Now we're in Las Vegas. But yeah, I'm happy Anthony Smith is back. Of course, a controversial win over Ryan Spann last time out in August. Khalil Roundtree Jr., of course, squashed Chris Daukaus. Actually sent him out of the UFC packing last time he fought. But yeah, Khalil Roundtree Jr., he's actually finished Paul Craig. I mean, he's beaten Dustin Jacoby. And then you got Anthony Smith, who's beaten Volkan Ozdemir, Mauricio Rua. Of course, I mentioned fought John Jones. That's an absolute banger of a fight. Now, in the unofficial scene, which we love the unofficial scene. That's where we get all of our fun information about fights that could be going down. Apparently, UFC 297, on Dana White's board of fights going down there was a leak that Kevin Holland may be taking on Michael Venom Page. Michael Venom Page, MVP, a Bellator legend. He's fought in bare knuckle fighting too. An amazing striker with an incredible highlight reel of KOs. Is a free agent currently in the MMA market. Rumored to be signing with the UFC. Apparently, January 20th, the UFC 297. This is going down. And Kevin Holland, I mean, who doesn't love Kevin Holland? Is he still ranked number 12 welterweight in the world? Kevin Holland. That would be an amazing fight, a banger of a fight. And UFC 297 is getting stacked. Absolutely stacked. Actually, in correlation to UFC 297, they finally put Mayra Bueno Silva back in the rankings at number 3. She, of course, takes on number 2 ranked women's bantamweight Hawkwell Pennington for the vacant championship in that division at UFC 297. Yeah, interesting stuff going on to kick off 2024. Going to be a good year, but I'm focused on rounding out 2023. We got 3 more events. They're all bangers, and I mean, we get to cap off the year with a pay-per-view. It don't get any better than that. It is just perfect. It's icing on the top, a cherry on the cake? Yeah, cherry on the cake. Cherry on something. We're putting a cherry on something for the rest of the year. But yeah, good times in the UFC world. I actually want to touch on the PFL real in a second, but I'm gonna take a quick break from fighting to do our little check-in with the other pro leagues. Of course, big NFL guy myself. And I always check in on how my NBA and NHL brothers are doing. So, of course, we start with the NBA. As of today, what is today? November 28th? Wow, November 28th. November just flew by. I'll say it again, and I'll say it again and again. But already heading towards the end of November, just about 17, 18, 16 games in for the NBA. In the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics are atop. At 13-4, 7-0 at home, a perfect 7-0 at home, 8-2 their last 10, coming off a big win. They're atop of the division, been looking good. The Orlando Magic, 12-5 on a 7-game win streak. They were 5-5, bottom of the pack, and have just skyrocketed up. I honestly don't know who's on the Magic. If I'm being honest, who's on the Magic? Is Mo Bamba still on the Magic? I know they got Franz Wagner. I know that who else do they got? Cole Anthony. Yeah, so Franz Wagner, Cole Anthony, two young Bucks doing their thing, leading the Magic. Good for them. Bucks also at 12-5 on a 2-game win streak. They sit at 3. 76ers 12-5, 2-game win streak. They're at 4th. Miami Heat at 5th. Pacers at 6. Currently in the playoffs, if you want to view it as that. The play-ins currently, New York Knicks 9-7, Cavaliers, Hawks, and Nets all about 9-8 or 8-8. Detroit Pistons, the worst team in the NBA, 2-15, 14-game losing streak. 14-game losing streak, 0-10 their last 10 matchups. Just incredible. The Wizards also 1-9 their last 10. They did get a win, though, so it snapped their losing streak, but they're 3-14. Just terrible stuff from both those teams. I don't know what to tell them. And my cousins, the Chicago Bulls. Any Illinois professional sports team is my cousin because my family and my cousins live there. Bulls are 5-13 on a 4-game losing streak. It's a shame. If they had Lonzo Ball, they'd be good, but Lonzo is unfortunately might never play again. It's tragic. It really hurts. Let's switch over to the Western Conference, where the number 1 team in the Western Conference, 12-4, 8-2 their last 10, the Minnesota Timberwolves. That is right. Absolutely incredible. Such a great defensive team. One of the best in the league. Their opponents' points per game is definitely very good. I mean, I'm seeing that the Rockets may have a better opponents' points per game, but the Timberwolves only give up about 106 points per game. And actually, yeah, it's actually the second best in the NBA. So incredible stuff from my Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, Jalen McDaniels, Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, Rudy Gobert, all the boys just been getting it done. You love to see it. Mike Conley, redemption here in Minnesota. Hey, the Vikings suck. The Wild suck. The Twins ended up sucking. Timberwolves, you could be Minnesota's hope. The Oklahoma City Thunder, getting all over those Josh Giddey allegations, are currently number 2 in the Western Conference, 11-5, 8-2 their last 10. Of course, Josh Giddey, 21-year-old in his second year in the league, rumored to have gone with an underage girl. Videos and pictures have been surfacing online. Definitely not good for the Thunder's image. It'll be interesting to see if Josh Giddey can beat the case and prove she was of legal age. We'll see, Josh. We'll see. But in basketball land, Denver Nuggets, 12-6, number 3 seed, and on a 7-game win streak. The Phoenix Suns are now 11-6. Kevin Durant finally turning up, and I've been hearing rumors they might trade for Seth Curry. We'll see. Devin Booker also been saucing it up. Mavericks 10-6, been kind of average this year, and the Sacramento Kings 9-6, continuing to plow forward. Houston Rockets are 8-6 at the number 7 seed. And number 8 seed, the Lakers, 10-8. You know, they got 10 wins, more than the Rockets and Kings, but they have 2 more losses, which knocks them down the rung. Towards the bottom of the pack, Memphis Grizzlies 3-13 on a 4-game losing streak, and just as bad as the Detroit Pistons, the San Antonio Spurs 3-14, 12-game losing streak, 0-10. 0-10 their last 10 games. Actually, 0-12 their last 12 games, if we look at the losing streak. Clippers 7-9. James Harden has proven nothing, not beneficial at all. And Trailblazers 5-12, near the bottom of the pack as expected. So as the season winds on, the Timberwolves and the Celtics rule their divisions and rule the NBA. And actually, yeah, Timberwolves are second best team in the league, actually right behind the Celtics in terms of losses to wins. Incredible stuff. I love to see it. It brings me so much joy. And looking at last season, I mean, if we go back to last season, I just want you to know that the Timberwolves ended horribly. They were 36-46. We missed the playoffs. I'll tell you, this has just been a breath of fresh air. And I don't really watch the games, but I still check in here and there. Let's hit the ice with the NHL teams as the Rangers with a 15 wins, 4 losses. It's not showing me their overtime losses, but judging that they have 31 points, you can assume that the Rangers have only lost 5 games. Good stuff for the Rangers atop the Eastern. I don't know if they're atop the Eastern Conference, but atop their division, the Metropolitan Division. Bruins are 14-4 with 3 overtime losses, I believe. Senators, bottom of the pack in the Atlantic, 8-9 with, how many losses? Oh, just 8-9. Just a perfect 8-9. Wow, how about that? And the Blue Jackets at 7-12. Ugh, 7 wins, 12 losses. How many overtime losses do they have? I think they have 4 overtime losses. Kind of rough stuff all around there. But good job to the Rangers and the Bruins. Let's switch over to the Western Conference. Golden Knights 14-5. I believe they have 3 overtime losses. Atop of the Pacific Division, and also not atop of the Western Conference. Kings are 13-3 with 3 overtime losses on a 5-game win streak. Ducks sadly sitting at 6th in the division on a 6-game losing streak. That's tough. Sharks 5-15. 5-15, 5 wins, 15 losses. Actually, they have how many? They actually have like 2 overtime losses as well. But you know what? They've rallied. They're not even the worst team in the league anymore. It's the Minnesota Wild. Just about 7-game losing streak. 5-10-4. 5-10-4. We have 14 losses. It's absolutely embarrassing. I don't even know what to say. It's an absolutely terrible season for the Wild. And the Blackhawks, getting Connor Bedard, are now 6-13, and it's just a straight up 6-13. Haven't even lost in overtime. They just are so bad. Predators, though, 5-game win streak, now sitting at 10-10. Good for them. Avalanche, though, 15-6, and just 15-6, 30 points. 4-game win streak has them in second in the Pacific Division. Wow, looking at the points, that's how I'll tell. So a 3-way tie for the best team in the NHL between the Bruins, Rangers, and Golden Knights. Good stuff in the NHL. Really got to bring my experts back on to teach me more about the NHL. But let's switch back over to the MMA realm of things as the PFL. The PFL had their championship, their $1 million championship or whatever they do, and we got a bunch of world champions. So I figured we would touch on this briefly, touch on this. As you know, it's pretty notable. It's fun. It's fun to look at. Just look at these guys that get it done. So basically, I'm trying to remember where it took place. Wasn't it in it was in Madison. Was it in Madison Square Garden? I don't know where it went down. It was on Black Friday. They had their championship. They crowned, 6 champions. They all get their belts. They've all won their tournament, won their season, and they get $1 million. It was amazing. Derek Brunson actually fought on the card. That's right, former UFC fighter Derek Brunson. Freaking love Derek Brunson, might I add. Not now that he's out of the UFC, that is. He beats Ray Cooper III by unanimous decision. Some dominant ground and pound. He was looking good. He'll be back next season for the PFL or even in Bellator. In general, Derek Brunson loving it. Kayla Harrison returning, beats former UFC fighter Aspen Ladd by unanimous decision, a dominant showing by Kayla Harrison, but just not what we saw in the past few years. She's kind of fallen off. I think people realize she's not as dominant as she's made out to be, but you know what? She's getting a win. Let's talk about the big wins of all the fighters. As Impa Kansagana wins the light heavyweight championship in PFL. He beats Josh Silveira by unanimous decision, I believe it was, to secure his victory. And Impa Kansagana is, of course, the man who was spinning back kicked by Joaquin Buckley, the most viral UFC KO of all time, has found his way to a championship. Incredible stuff from Impa. I love to see it. Beats Martin Hamilton, beats Josh Silveira, wins the belt, and calls out, you'll never guess it, Francis Ngannou. He wants the smoke with Francis Ngannou. I love it. Impa Gonzagana. I was trying to think about who he'd match up with in Bellator. I think was it Nadim Venkov or whatever is the champion? I don't know how that would go, but good win for Impa Gonzagana, guys. Really, really appreciate him. In the featherweight world, that is, not even on the main card. All right, the main card costs like $50 for the PFL, so affordable, but no one's buying it because it's just not enough name brand fighters. But on the prelims, featherweight fighter Jesus Pinedo, the biggest underdog of the whole season, was not even supposed to be here, right? Knocks out the champion from last year, Brendan Loney, knocks out his next guy, comes in, beats Bubba Jenkins, beats Gabriel Braga with a, what was it? I think it was a round number 1, 2, I think it was a round number 3 standing TKO to become the featherweight champion. Jesus Pinedo, hailing from, it was either Mexico or Peru. I think it was Peru, actually. Incredible stuff from Jesus Pinedo. I love to see it. And people were saying, like, hey, how would this guy match up with against Patricio Pitbull, Bellator featherweight champion? I don't know, but I do know I'm happy for him. Good job to Jesus Pinedo. And spelled Jesus. It's spelled Jesus. We love Jesus. In the welterweight tournament for whatever, if you want to phrase it as a tournament or season, however the PFL does their thing, Magomed Derakimov, if you can guess from just that name, got a round 3 submission over last year's champion Sabado Sai to become the new welterweight champion. Amazing stuff, just amazing stuff from Magomed. I love to see it. This Magomed guy, just an absolute savage. I mean, I think he has like 1 loss, maybe no losses. Incredible stuff, incredible run, and this guy could probably match up with a lot of welterweights in the UFC. So keep your ears open for Magomed Karaminov. Just an incredible name. I just love his name. In the women's featherweight championship, Larissa Pacheco beats Marina Makratina by unanimous decision, becoming a 2-time winner of the PFL championship in featherweight and in bantamweight. Incredible stuff from Larissa Pacheco. We love to see it. And she called out Chris Cyborg. She said she'll fight Kayla Harrison in a rematch. She'll even fight Julia Pena. I don't know. Larissa Pacheco, one of the best women fighters in the world. Heading over to our co-main event, which was our heavyweight boys. I believe it was. Was it our heavyweight boys? Yes. Renan Ferreira becomes a, was he a 2-time champion? I don't know if Renan Ferreira had won it before, but he knocks out Denis Golzatov in round number 2, I believe it was, to become champion. He'd previously knocked out Maurice Green, and he had knocked out, what's his freaking name? Jorgen De Castro, 2 former UFC fighters, actually 2 training partners of John Jones. Renan Ferreira wins the heavyweight championship, wins the $1 million, and honestly, he matches up pretty well with Francis Ngannou for an MMA fit. Renan Ferreira, a dominant heavyweight. I'd love to see that guy in the UFC. If I'm being honest, get him in the UFC. And his opponent, Denis Goltsov, all right, equally as good. That guy could easily fight in the UFC on any good day. So, good win for those fellas. And in the main event, former UFC fighter and last year's winner of the lightweight championship, Olivier Aubin-Mercier, beats Clay Collard by unanimous decision to become a 2-time champion. You'll love to see it. The Canadian gets it done. He was looking good. He was feeling good. And also, he had me feeling good. He had me feeling good, man. Oliver, just incredible stuff. I mean, he beat Bruno Miranda, beats Clay Collard in the championship. You love to see it. I don't know who he would fight in light. Who is he matching up with? He was matching up with someone. I don't really know the Bellator fighters, but big fights ahead in 2024 for these guys. I'm happy to see what comes of everything. But yeah, it was an okay event. I didn't really watch it. I pretty much just read the results, saw if there were any finishes. But I'm actually Big Eo Ali Walsh, Muhammad Ali's great-grandson or whatever, actually knocked out his opponent in round number 1. This guy's going crazy on the MMA scene. I believe he's still an amateur, might be a pro yet. I don't know, but he's been so much fun to watch. So it's been a pleasure watching him engage in some fights. Just gonna touch in real quick here on Hoist. All right, you already know I'm calling for my Hoist sponsorship. Of course, the hydration, the IV hydration drink that is used by athletes, by the military. It's super good. It's super tasty. It's really good for you. Really hydrates you. Better than Gatorade. Less sugar. I encourage everyone to give it a try and Hoist. Don't be afraid to holler at your boy. I'm just going to keep tagging you. All right. Well, should I start tagging any company that I want to be sponsored by? I know I got to gain a better following? No, bigger following. My following's already better than anyone else's. But yeah, you already know we got to shout out Hoist. Going over just so many random things on here in WWE land. All right, WWE wrestling, professional wrestling. Used to be a huge WWE fan, guys. I used to be a huge WWE kid. I mean, I would watch all the events. I get the magazines, the figures. I had the posters. I had the bed sheets. I freaking read autobiographies about these guys doing drugs, drinking themselves to death. When I was in like 10th grade, I was reading freaking Shawn Michaels' autobiography, Triple H's autobiography. Absolutely crazy stuff. Some big news went down. A big event went down, Survivor Series, one of their big 4 events of the year. You know the UFC, they sometimes have their big events. WWE has their 4 big events. The Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. And at Survivor Series, we got 2 big returns. Randy Orton, you might recognize his name. He invented the RKO. I'm sure a lot of people know what the RKO is. You go up to your buddy, you grab his head, and you slam him to the ground. That's the RKO. He returned this weekend, helped Cody Rhodes get a victory, a bunch of other wrestlers too. But the big one, the big return, CM Punk returns to WWE 9 years after a terrible, terrible breaking up. I mean, it was so incredible to hear him come back right when you thought the show was over. His music hits, the Cult of Personality, the iconic song from the 80s or 90s, whenever it came out. It hit, and just the crowd went nuts. The crowd went nuts. I could believe when I saw it. I wasn't really watching it. I was busy at the time. But just seeing it on my phone, I was like, this is insane. I've rewatched the clip many a times. And so happy to see CM Punk back. Of course, he was actually a writer for Marvel for a time, trying to get into some movies, I've heard. Of course, he was in the UFC, had 2 professional fights, made a lot of money. Doing that, he returned to AEW, a rival wrestling promotion. Left that, unfortunately, earlier this year. But now he's in the WWE, back to where he belongs. And honestly, it makes me want to watch WWE again. It just sucks me right back into my childhood. Incredible that 9 years ago he left, and 9 years ago he's back. And he once said in an interview on the red carpet he would never go back. So this is just an incredible, incredible thing. Historic. Love to see it. CM Punk, you're one of my favorite wrestlers of all freaking time. Let's touch on what should we do next, folks? I got so much fun activities to share with you. Let's talk about the college football playoffs. We got some updates to the professional, actually the AP Top 25, and then they have the college football playoff rankings. So let's do the AP Top 25, then we'll look at the college football playoff rank. Actually, we don't even need to look at the college football playoff rankings because technically the AP Top 25 is like the college. It's basically the same, but we'll look at the AP Top 25 because we have like a tie. I've never seen this before, but let's start off at 25, 10-2 on the year. What's their freaking name? SMU? What is that? Southern Mississippi? Why isn't it showing me their freaking the updated thing? I gotta find the good one now. I thought I found this happens every week if I don't save it. I find like where they update the AP Top 25 and they give their thoughts on every team. So I think that's what I'm looking for. Last time I tried to open it, my phone crashed. There we go. We found it at number 25, debuting the SMU Mustangs. I don't know, is that Southern Mississippi? Southern something. QB Preston Stone threw for 322 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Mustangs scored 52 first half points, beating Navy 59-14. Wow. That's incredible. They'll actually be in the AAC Championship Saturday versus Tulane. Okay, good for them, getting ranked towards the end of the year. And number 24, the James Madison Dukes. Probably not getting a bowl game, who knows, but they beat Coastal Carolina 56-14, 11-1 on the year. Incredible. It's actually their largest win against an FBS opponent since the division split in 1978. Their 42-point win. Good win for the Dukes. They're, of course, banned from the bowls for some reason. Who knows? At number 23, the Toledo Rockets, 11-1, defeated Central Michigan this past weekend. They stay in at 23, their previous ranking. Penny Boone, their running back, rushed for 186 yards and 2 scores, giving him 8 100-yard rushing games this year, tied for the most in college football. They'll actually be in the MAC Championship Saturday versus Miami, Ohio. Pretty cool on ESPN. And number 21, actually we have a tie for 21. I didn't even know you could do that, between Oregon State and North Carolina State. How about that? North Carolina State was not ranked. Now they're ranked. They defeated North Carolina by 19 points. Wow. Their star linebacker, Peyton Wilson, finished with 15 tackles, a sack, an interception, and a forced fumble. That's incredible. They'll be in a bowl game, but it's still being decided. And same for Oregon State. They're 8-4. There was a point they were super high up. They got blown up by Oregon, so they dropped 6 spots from number 15. You know what? They actually had terrible stats from that game. So Oregon State Beavers, a hard fall off. At number 20, still undefeated, 12-0, the Liberty Flames. They were previously ranked 22. They jump up 2 spots. They ran for 441 yards. Their most since becoming a college football team in 2018. As they completed their first perfect regular season in the team's 50-year history. They defeated UTEP 42-28. They'll be in the Conference USA Championship Friday versus New Mexico State. Good for them. Good for Liberty. A perfect season. You'll love to see it. I love to see it, personally. At number 19, rising 2 spots after defeating BYU in second overtime. Oklahoma State, 9-3 on the year. Ollie Gordon II ran for 5 touchdowns, tying the school's single-game record with Barry Sanders, who did it 3 times in 1988. They'll be in the Big 12 Championship versus Texas next Saturday. How about that? Good for Oklahoma State. At number 18, jumping 2 spots after beating Nebraska 13-10, the Iowa Hawkeyes. I'll be damned. My cousin Ryan's school will actually be probably doing a podcast with him over Christmas, so stay tuned for a special Christmas episode drop. We'll have to see. Stat to know, this was the Hawkeyes' 9th win this season when scoring fewer than 27 points, breaking a tie for the most in a season over the past 40 years. They'll be in one of the biggest matchups of the year in the Big Ten Championship next Saturday at 8 p.m. on Fox against the powerhouse Michigan. Oh my goodness. If Iowa can beat them, Alabama fans will be happy. We'll see. We got a couple big ones next weekend. At number 17, jumping up a spot from last week, 11-1 on the year, Tulane Green Wave. They had defeated UTSA 29-16, and they reached 11 wins for the 4th time in program history as their QB Michael Pratt threw for 2 touchdown passes, running his streak of consecutive games with a touchdown pass to 26 games. They'll be in the AAC Championship against SMU, as we touched on earlier. At number 16, jumping up a spot, Notre Dame. That is right, 9-3 on the year. Notre Dame, they blew out Stanford 56-23 this past weekend. Their running back, Audric Estime, ran for 238 yards and 4 touchdowns, becoming the first Notre Dame player to run for more than 225 yards and had 4 scores in the game since they became a team. They'll be in a bowl game, but not determined yet. At number 15, dropping 6 spots from number 9, the Louisville Cardinals. They lost to Kentucky 38-31. Incredible stuff. 10-2 on the year. They have now lost 5 straight games to the Wildcats, their longest losing streak in the rivalry since Kentucky won the first 7 games. They'll be in the AAC Championship, though, against Florida State. They're still getting a championship game, but, just tough losing to Kentucky. Jumping up 2 spots from last week, we got a basketball college in Arizona. The Wildcats, 9-3 on the year, defeated Arizona State 59-23. Their QB, Noah Fafita threw for a school record 527 yards, going along with 4 touchdowns, as the Wildcats scored their most points against the Sun Devils since 1946. Holy cow, that's so many! 527 yards. I don't even know what to do with that. They'll be in a bowl game, but it's still being determined. Wow. Jumping up a spot from last week, from 14-13, we got the LSU Tigers. That's right. Jaden Daniels, their QB, threw 4 touchdown passes to become the 5th SEC player to be responsible for 50 touchdowns in a season. The previous 4 all won the Heisman Trophy. He also finished the game with 16,000 yards of total offense in his career. Only the 6th college football player to eclipse the 16,000 mark. They'll be in a bowl game, but we'll see what they do. The big win over Texas A&M this weekend. They got to get a bowl game, but you'll love to see it from LSU. And Jaden Daniels, future NFL player probably. At number 12, jumping up a spot from last week, the Oklahoma Sooners. 10-2 on the year. They have scored more than 65 points 3 times this season, the most among college football programs, after they obliterated TCU live on TV 69-45. Every time I looked at my TV, Oklahoma was scoring. I went to the store, I come back, I see an Oklahoma touchdown. Incredible stuff. They'll get a bowl game, just not determined yet. Number 11, jumping up a spot from last week, 10-2. beat Mississippi State 17-7. The Ole Miss Rebels. Quinshon Judkins recorded his 15th rushing touchdown of the season, becoming the first SEC player with 15 or more rushing scores in his first 2 years since Herschel Walker. How about that? Bowl game incoming, not determined. At number 10, also jumping up a spot. Everyone was making little jumps this past weekend. Penn State. They blew out Michigan State 42-rip. Was the largest shutout of a Big Ten opponent in the AP poll era since 1936. 42-rip. Bowl game incoming. Just don't know when or who, but you'll see them in a bowl game. And yet another team jumping up a spot from last week as the Missouri Tigers are now ranked number 9. They blew out Arkansas 48-14. Their QB Cody Strader now has the third most single-season rushing yards in Missouri history with 1,435. I think I meant running back, actually. So, yeah, they'll get a bowl game, but, yeah, Cody Strader, running back. My bad. At number 8, same as they were last week, 11-1, defeated Auburn 27-24. One of my favorite games to watch, the Alabama Crimson Tide. That finish was insane. That finish was absolutely insane. What was it? Fourth and like 20, or it was like 4th and goal, but from like the 20 or 30. No time left, no timeouts. Throws a Jalen Milroe, 31-yard touchdown pass on 4th and goal. Gave Nick Saban's squad a 4th straight Iron Bowl win. Its longest streak since it won 9 in a row from 1973 to 1981. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. Back in the end zone. Hit the wide receiver, catches it. Insane. Alabama is truly a powerhouse. They got some work to do to get into the playoffs. They got to beat Georgia. They got to beat Georgia this Saturday, 4 p.m., CBS. All right, if they can beat Georgia, one of the most dominant teams in college football history, they'll get into the playoffs. Well, we'll see. Time will tell. Same as they were last week, the Texas Longhorns, 11-1 on the year, blew out Texas Tech 57-7. The Longhorns won a conference game by 50 points for the first time since 2007, and now get a chance at their first Big 12 title in 13 years, the longest gap between league titles in school history. They'll play in that Big 12 championship against an undecided opponent next Saturday. Ooh, interesting. At number 6, they were previously ranked number 2. Finally, we get a shakeup in the top 5. The Ohio State Buckeyes. They lose to Michigan 30-24. An absolutely amazing game. Despite Marvin Harrison Jr.'s 118 receiving yards and touchdown, Ryan Day fell to 1-3 against Michigan while going 55-4. 55-4 against every other team he's ever played. Michigan owns Ohio State under Ryan Day, that is. But, man, tough L for the Ohio State Buckeyes. They might not even make the college football playoffs. Honestly, they need a lot of scenarios to happen. They'll get a bowl game, but it's still being worked out. Absolutely insane. On a side note, Wisconsin beat Minnesota in the Axe game or whatever. So, yeah, sucks to be a Gopher fan at Lexi. That's for you. At number 5, they were previously ranked number 6, the Oregon Ducks. They defeated Oregon State 31-7, moving their record on the year to 11-1, and the Ducks have scored 30 or more points in every game this season, thanks to another stellar effort from QB Bo Nix. He completed 33 of 40 passes for 367 yards and 2 touchdowns while rushing for a 3rd score. They'll face Washington in the Pac-12 Championship this Friday. Exciting stuff there. Let's get into our top 4 because it has been shaken up, and there's a lot of bowl games coming our way. At number 4, they were previously number 5, undefeated 12-0, the Florida State Seminoles. They defeated Florida 24-15, and the Seminoles have now won 18 straight games, the second longest winning streak in school history, and third longest active college football streak. They'll be in the ACC Championship next Saturday against Louisville, a huge one there. That's going to be a big one. If they win that, they'll make the playoffs. If they lose, a lot of stuff could happen. We'll see, though. We'll see. Previously ranked number 4, now number 3, also undefeated at 12-0, the Washington Huskies. They defeated Washington State 24-21. It was a close one. Washington State would not go away, but the Huskies got it done. Actually, the Huskies have now won 8 straight games by 10 points or fewer. This is the longest streak in the AP poll era. They've just been squeaking out some victories, man. Pac-12 championship against Oregon, though, gonna be a tough one for them. Battle of QBs, I'll tell you that. At number 2, they were previously number 3, the Michigan Wolverines. Perfect year, 12-0. Defeat Ohio State, as we mentioned, 30-24. And the Wolverines have now won 3 straight games against the Buckeyes for the first time since 1995. After losing 15 of the previous 16 meetings, Blake Corum ran for 2 scores to set the single record for single-season rushing yard touchdowns. Alrighty, Big Ten Championship against Iowa, of course, Saturday. Michigan's almost guaranteed to make the playoffs, unless Iowa can pull off an unheard of upset. And we'll talk about the number 1 team. They've been number 1, honestly, all year. All year, nothing's changed. Defeated Georgia Tech 31-23, 12-0. They're always number 1, the Georgia Bulldogs. The Dogs now own the longest winning streak of any SEC team in history at 29 consecutive victories. They'll be in the SEC Championship next Saturday against Bama. That's going to be a big one for both those teams, but I think the Dogs can get it done. It should be competitive. It should be competitive, though, but I mean, I won't lie. I won't lie. It's not going to be a walk in the park for them. I'll tell you that. Alabama stuff, Georgia, it might be tougher. They honestly might be tougher. Throat's getting a bit raspy. We're going to get a quick drink of water, take a quick little break, and then I'll be back with a little bit of Movie Monday on a Tuesday, if you want to say that. Talk about the last 2 movies I watched this past weekend, rank my top 10 Christmas songs, and wrap everything up with a little look. Actually, not a little look, a full-on recap of Week 12 of the NFL. I'll be right back to you in a second. Alrighty, so Movie Monday kind of didn't really go to plan, as I didn't record on Monday. I was super busy yesterday, but nonetheless, we're going to be checking out the movies I watched this weekend. I watched 2, both with my girlfriend. I picked out one, she picked out one. I personally liked mine better, but honestly, hers was pretty funny. I can't lie. So mine was Couples Retreat. If no one's seen Couples Retreat, I mean, it stars Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau, I think that's how you say his name. Jon Favreau, Vince Vaughn. I mean, who are the other names in this one? Dana Fox. I mean, no, where's the full cast? Because this is a absolutely loaded cast. They got Jason Bateman in this one. Gosh, just absolutely amazing cast. And it was a hilarious movie, a very good comedy. I recommend it. Who are some of the other names? Jason Bateman, I said, Faison Love, Kristen Davis, Malin Ackerman, Kristen Bell, another big one, Jean Reno. But basically, the film was shot in Bora Bora, but it's basically they go to this place for a couples retreat to kind of rekindle their marriage. All things go sideways, super funny stuff all around. Just a feel-good movie, a typical comedy of that era, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I liked some of the moments. There was some funny scenes. There's like this yoga scene that had me dying. I recommend that movie to anyone that wants to check it out. It could say what should I rank this movie? I'm trying to think. I should start ranking them on like a scale of 1 to 10. It gets a 7 out of 10. You know, I can't go absolutely crazy with how I'm ranking them, but you know, it's a fairly funny movie. Jon Favreau, I love him as an actor. You know, he's such a good director now, such a good producer. You forget how good of an actor he is. And Vince Vaughn is just such an amazing actor. I mean, he could just play any role and he just sells you on it. Funny humor. I loved it. The Couples Retreat. I recommend that to anyone. The second movie I watched was The House Bunny. Oh my gosh. This one was a weird one. The House Bunny was actually produced by Adam Sandler's Happy Madison Productions and basically stars Anna Faris, I believe it is, Anna Faris, as a Playboy bunny who gets kicked out and goes to live in a sorority house as like their house mother or whatever. I read that. I was like, this is so dumb. My girlfriend's like, we're watching it. And I was like, sure, I guess I'll watch it. And I was pleasantly surprised. I actually laughed at the just terrible humor. It was so dumb. Emma Stone was in it. I mean, I can't believe Emma Stone went from this to La La Land. It was that I find crazy. Colin Hanks was in it. Of course, Tom Hanks' son. He was the love interest of the film. There were some other, I mean, Kat Dennings was in it. I don't even know who else was in it. A number of people that I recognize. Catherine McPhee was in it. Just a terrible movie. Hugh Hefner was actually in it, which is pretty funny. But I don't know. It was one of those movies where like you just know it's not good, but it was funny. It was actually a good ride. The humor is just so dumb. The humor is so dumb, and I like dumb type of humor movies. I watched it. It'll get a 6.8 out of 10. All right, actually that would bump up Couples Retreat. I thought was a better movie, but as far as just humor, they're both pretty similar on humor level. I don't know. It was an all right movie. I mean, nothing really much to touch on. Movie Monday doesn't have to be too in depth. But yeah, Couples Retreat was better than The House Bunny. But honestly, The House Bunny, a hidden gem that I didn't even know existed, and I actually found funny. I almost hated that I found it funny because like it was just so dumb. It was so dumb. I couldn't. I'm stuttering because I'm like, why did I watch this movie? Why did I give it any time of day? And guess what? I was oddly glad I did. So we'll stop rambling about random movies as let's get into my favorite part, one of my favorite parts of this episode, which is the top 10 Christmas songs. That was right. I was like, it's the holiday season. I got to rank my top 10 Christmas songs. So, I mean, there's a lot of them. So these are mine. These are my top 10 Christmas songs. Don't let this be like, oh, the official list of the top 10 Christmas songs of all time, Zach. You got them all wrong. You don't know anything. Obviously, I'm just going off of what I enjoy, of what I like. So, without ado, I'm going to go through my top 10 list. So, I do have one honorable mention I'll touch on. I have one honorable mention that the only reason I didn't put in is because there's no lyrics, but I like this. I guess it's a song. Yeah, you can have songs without lyrics, but it's Christmas Sarajevo by Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It's like the dun 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 dun, that one, and I mess with it so much. It honestly gets me hype. It honestly that kind of gets you going. You're kind of like, all right, I'm ready to go shovel some snow. I'm ready to go hoop or something, anything. But just because of no lyrics, it didn't make my top 10. But it was almost in there. I love it though, so we had to give it a shout out. But without a doubt, let's get into it with number 10 with a classic, an oldie. It's The Most Wonderful Time of the Year by Andy Williams, especially by him. It's the most wonderful time of the year. That's right. You not only get to hear my top 10 songs, but you get to hear me slowly sing them just to bring you all some joy for this holiday season. Maybe we'll do a giveaway. I don't know. I'm just so blessed this year. But yeah, it's The Most Wonderful Time of the Year. Andy Williams, a classic. I always like it. It's always one of those it's like, oh, it's a classic. I don't know if I want to give it that time of day, but no, it's that good. It's worth it, and we gotta throw it on the list. It truly is the most wonderful time of the year already. Let's move into number 9 with another classic. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, but my favorite version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town is by Bruce Springsteen. That's right, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, the American man. Oh, it's a good one. We gets it going talking about all stuff, and he's like, oh, you better watch out, you better not cry. He gets into it, man. I know there's a lot of versions. The Jackson 5, that's another good one, but the Bruce Springsteen one in particular is what I really appreciate and enjoy hearing. So Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen at number 9. Heading into number 8, it's interesting. I don't know if it's really a Christmas song, but it's a holiday season song. It's Hallelujah. I heard there was a secret chord that David played. And I only hear it during this time of year, but I actually heard one by Charlie the Day, which is this artist I just discovered, which is pretty good. But my favorite rendition of it is actually by Pentatonics, the a cappella group. Surprisingly, not really a big a cappella guy. I love the Pitch Perfect movies, but I really like their version of it. I can just feel the passion of it, the pain, the suffering, the love. It's so good when you can translate that into song. So that's up there at number 8 for me. I really enjoy it. It's just one of those songs you hear it late at night. You're just like, I gotta let it play out, man. I gotta sing my heart out alone in the car. Hallelujah. At number 8. At number 7, I have Santa Claus is Back in Town by Elvis. All right, Elvis, a bunch of bangers. Blue Christmas, one of them. He has some others. Oh my gosh, Elvis has a good amount of them. Elvis, man, one of the greats. Oh my gosh, I love Elvis so much. But Santa Claus is Coming Back in Town. He just gets you going, where he's just like, when it's Christmas time, little baby, and the snow is coming down. Santa Claus is back in town. It's super good. I really like that version of it, the pace of it, the beats. And I'm a big Elvis guy. I like a lot of Elvis's songs. Satisfaction, a little less conversation, a little more action. The conversation on that one's good. I mean, Elvis, so many bangers. I just had to throw some Elvis song in here, and listening to them all, Blue Christmas, obviously a classic, but I just liked Santa Claus is Back in Town just so much, and Santa Claus is almost back in town. We got like 24 days till Christmas. Actually, pretty incredible. I wish I would have done this yesterday, because it would have been 25 days on the 25th of Christmas. It's incredible. Loving it. At number 6, this one holds a special place in my heart. Feliz Navidad, Jose Feliciano. I mean, this song, I just know all the lyrics. I don't even have to try. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Wait, is that the one I'm thinking of? Feliz Navidad. Yeah, no, it is. I had to sing it for a second, so I was like, from the bottom of my heart. So it's one of those songs that switches back between Spanish and English, and you're kind of just like, oh, but it's good enough where like both people who speak those languages can sing it. So very much love that song. And actually in kindergarten, they took a video of me just saying Feliz Navidad, and they put it on, so like kindergarten, I don't know anything. They're like, oh, little cute Zachary, he's so adorable, this little boy, let's have him say this. And then in 4th grade, they did an end of the year video, and they did, it was either an end of the year or like an end of Christmas. I think it was an end of like Christmas, right before winter break. I think that's what it was, right before winter break, they did a video, and to end it, they showed me saying that, and I was like, was that me? And everyone was laughing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the man. Yeah, look at me, 10-year-old Zach. But Feliz Navidad, a classic. I actually kind of want to listen to that on my way to the gym tomorrow, or even back from the gym. It's just, it can get you going no matter what you do. But Feliz Navidad at number 6 for me. Let's get into my top 5. It was, honestly, this list wasn't too tough to put together. Just I kind of weighed what song I like more than the other, but a lot of good ones. Number 5, Step Into Christmas by Elton John. The step into Christmas, we'll come together, something. I mean, just so good, Elton John. I like Elton John. I'm honestly, you either like him or you hate him. I like Elton John, man. I like some of his songs, and Step Into Christmas, it gets me going. Especially when he goes into Welcome to My Christmas Song. You're just getting into it. Step Into Christmas, an underrated one, flies under the radar a bit from you, but had to throw it in here. Especially number 5. I really like it. At number 4, fairly new. It's rare you get a new one in here, but at number 4, Underneath the Tree by Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson, so many bangers, but Underneath the Tree, I was actually talking to my buddy Tyler not too long ago on the mic about it, and he was just like, yeah, that's such a good song, one of my favorites. I'm like, yeah, it's one of my favorites. You're all I need underneath the tree, we're here, present. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's such a good one. Underneath the Tree, and I say fairly new because a lot of these are older ones. Early 2000s, the 90s, we're going back into the 80s for some of these, and some of these were written back in like the 40s, 50s, 60s. This one, written fairly newer, Kelly Clarkson delivering a banger with this one. Let's get into my top 3, man. Let's do it. Number 3, This Christmas by Donny Hathaway. Every time the opening, it's like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh my gosh, just gets me going. And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas. And I'm always just like, Donnie, sing it to me, man. Sing it to me, Donnie. And Donnie always delivers. This Christmas at number 3, another one of my favorites. And it surprises me how much I enjoy it. And every time it comes on, I'm always here for it. Donny Hathaway, you outdid yourself with this Christmas. And this Christmas is going to be a good Christmas. I can already feel there's just something in the air. There's just something in the air lately. Good vibes. We're going to keep the vibes high. My number 2 Christmas song of all time. It's probably a lot of people's number 2, but honestly, it's just that good. Last Christmas by Wham. I know a lot of people have tried to outdo Wham, but no one can outdo it. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. I mean, it's just, you just can't get enough of it. It's so good. And I do this challenge now. Despite loving the song, I do this challenge now. I started like 3 years ago, where I see how many days of December I can go without listening to it. Harder than you think. You just can't hear it anywhere. You can't hear it on TikTok, the radio, the store, a video your grandmother sent you. You can't hear it walking down a hall. A passing car plays it. You can't hear it. Last year, I only made it 3 days, but my previous year, 2021, I made it 11 days without hearing Last Christmas. It was very tough. I was trying to think what I did over that winter break. I don't think I did much. I think I just sat at home or something. That was probably how I was able to avoid hearing it. But it's fun. It's an amazing song. Wham. Love Wham. They got some bangers. They got some heat. Last Christmas is so good. Once I hear it, though, for the first time, then we let it flow, and I listen to it just about every day. Last Christmas by Wham, my number 2 Christmas song of all time, which brings me to my number 1. And, I want to stray. From everyone else, but it really is a number 1. There really is a number 1, and Mariah Carey just outdid herself with this one. All I Want for Christmas Is You. Everyone knows it. Also, you can listen to this song any time of the year, and it still hits. It's still a banger. And I just cannot believe it. It's just so good. And I'm looking at all the other Christmas songs up there, all the potential ones, and just nothing comes close. Nothing comes close. This song is that good. It has the tune. It just carries it, and it gets you going. It gets you going with all I want for Christmas is you, baby. Picks it up, keeps you going steady, and then just when you think it might drop off at the end, nope, it skyrockets you to the top, and you're just like, wow, this song is perfection. The best Christmas song of all time, All I Want for Christmas Is You, specifically done by Mariah Carey. No one will outdo it. No one will ever outdo it. And I don't know when we're going to hear a better Christmas song than it. We'll have to see. Because that one, I'd say it's not really fairly new. But like in the last 20 years it's came out. So, we'll have to see within the next 20 years from today. Maybe by 2043, we'll have a new banger Christmas song. But as for that, that's my list. I'm interested to see what you guys think. So let me know. Just shoot me any form of message what your favorite Christmas song is of all time, or even your top 10, because there was a lot of them I had to sort through, but these were the 10 I landed on, 10 of my favorites, and of course the Christmas Cervejo. Cannot forget the Christmas Cervejo. Not lyrical, what is it, a musical banger? I don't know, however you want to phrase it, that's what it is. But yeah, Christmas time right around the corner. It's been fun. It's been real. I'm in the gift-giving mood, for not being financially off very well. I'm not terrible. I'm not necessarily rich. In the gift-giving mood, I'm just happy to be giving out gifts. I'll tell you what gift I didn't get. That was a victory in my picks league. I lost to my dad, and I lost to my boy Tyler. So I had to pay him $5. And I'm up in that pool with my buddies Dane and Tyler in like our little 3-man league. But in my freaking family league, my dad is cooking 120 correct picks on the year. He got 16 correct. Now we did do double points for Thanksgiving games, so he got only the Lions and Packers game wrong. But other than that, he only got the Saints game wrong. So 14 out of 16 correct overall. Amazing stuff from Mark Ruger. Just amazing stuff to see, yeah. Segueing our way over to cap off this fun little episode, we have our NFL Week 12 recap. But also, before we get into that, let me just say, we reached 1,000 downloads Sunday of the Surprise Jeb podcast. A round of applause. I gotta get a soundboard. I gotta play the applause sound right now, guys. I am so blessed, so thankful. When I started this in July, I didn't think anyone was gonna listen. I kind of thought, maybe some people will. But to just know that, what has this been now? This has been almost 5 months? 4 months. Within 4 months. Wait, July, August, September, October. 5 months. 5 months. Clearly terrible at math. I'm in college. Why do I pay for these classes? I can't do basic math. In 5 months, I've gotten 1,000 downloads. That's incredible for me, for someone. Not a huge platform. Just doing this in my bedroom, in my basement. So fun. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I love it. Thank you all very much. The 1,000 download special. Should have celebrated. But yes, now we will take a quick break. We'll be back with the Week 12 of the NFL recap. Alrighty, I've been jonesing all day to talk about all the matchups from this past weekend, just to get caught up, kind of, because with this podcast, I kind of associate it with recapping events, recapping the NFL. So I felt behind not recording a podcast last weekend on Thursday or this past Monday, and just all this information pileup of sorts. But here we are. We had 16 games, so we don't get a break, but we do have a chill week next week. I don't think we have hardly as many games, but let's kick it off with our Thanksgiving games. We started off our Week 12 with the Packers and the Lions, and by some way, guys, I don't even know how. I don't know how this happened. I'm genuinely confused how the freaking Packers beat the Lions. I still can't place it. I don't know how they did it. Packers beat the Lions 29-22. Big fantasy performances from Jordan Love, 26.62 points. Christian Watson, 20.4. Jalen Reed, 15.0. As for Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 18.5. Jared Goff, 18.18. And Sam Laporta, 17.7. Speaking of fantasy football, my first week where I went 4-0 in all my leagues. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I could not believe it. We're looking good, boys. We're looking good. We're trying to make the playoffs in all 4 leagues. We'll see, though. In one league, I'm going to make it. Two leagues, I'm going to make it. Other 2 are pretty close. One of them I'm feeling pretty confident. Other one, 50-50. I'm like 6-6 in 2 leagues. So, I mean, pretty interesting stuff. But back to the recap. Just a tough one to be a Lions fan. I mean, losing 29-22, and I mean the first quarter, just insane. 21-7. I didn't know what hit me. Jalen Reed catches a touchdown pass from Jordan Love. Then Sam Laporta answered, but then freaking Jordan Love answers, and then Jonathan Owens gets a 27-yard fumble return. You know who Jonathan Owens is? Simone Biles' husband, fiance, whatever. I was absolutely shocked, and as a Vikings fan, I don't like either of them, but I don't like the Packers even more. Third quarter, David Montgomery tied it up, but then Jordan Love, touchdown pass to Christian Watson. With 41 seconds left, Lions brought it 22-29. Onside kick didn't succeed. That was the game. That'll do it. That was all she wrote. Jordan Love had an amazing day for the Packers. I will say 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, rush for 39 yards. Doing his thing. A.J. Dillon, 43 yards on the day on 14 rushes. I guess if you want to point that out. But Christian Watson, 5 catches, 94 yards, a touchdown. Incredible. Jalen Reed, 4 catches, 34 yards and touchdown. And the tight end Kraft, 2 catches, 15 yards for a touchdown. Good stuff for the Packers, man. Good for you. Here's the thing about the Lions. They didn't even play that bad. Jared Goff, 332 yards, 2 touchdowns. There were some fumbles for the Lions. Dave Montgomery, 71 yards, a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, 54 yards rushing. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 catches, 95 yards. So one of the top wide receivers in the league. Raymond, 5 catches, 90 yards. Laporta, 5 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Jameson Williams, 2 catches, 51 yards. And Josh Reynolds caught the other touchdown pass for the team. But falling short is the Lions, and it's tough. It's tough losing a divisional matchup like that. Me as a Vikings fan, I felt that it was a weird week in the NFL for sure. Lions are now 8-3. Packers 5-6 on a 2-game win streak. They're creeping up there. We gotta be careful. They might sneak in and steal a playoff spot from us. I don't know, but good win for the Packers. On a little heater right now, they're plus 7-point differential. Lions still boasting an impressive plus 36, almost at 300 points for. Did take a doozy this week, but I did not think that they were going to get it done, the Packers, and they did. And they did some good stuff for them. As for next week, both teams will be back. Lions will be visiting the Saints. Good game there. Should be able to get done. Packers meet the Chiefs, or host the Chiefs, I should say, on Sunday Night Football. Should be interesting. But, good one for the Packers. I'll give it to you. Just this once. Never again. And I'm never picking them. I don't pick the Packers, man. We rock with them when they're playing. Our 3:30 game on Thanksgiving. It's for such an impressive performance from the Cowboys. I mean, it's just, I want competitive games. This was not a competitive game. Cowboys blow out the Commanders 45-10. 45-10. Are you freaking kidding me? I was about to cuss there. I was about to drop the hard F-bomb. I mean, my goodness. 45-10. All right. Curtis Samuel, 19 fantasy points for the Commanders. Sam Howell, 17.3. Jahan Dotson, 10.2. For the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, 32.24. Absolutely balling. Tony Pollard, 22.3. And CeeDee Lamb, 17.3. Good stuff all around for them. I mean, we the first quarter. I mean, just from the get go, you could tell there was blood in the water. I mean, by halftime, I mean, 10 to, what was it, like 14? I think it was 21-10 or something. I think it was 21-10 after the first, heading into halftime. No scoring in the third. Fourth quarter hits. Brandon Aubrey gets a 52-yard field goal. Then CeeDee Lamb catches a touchdown pass. Then Kevontae Turpin catches a touchdown pass. And then Deron Bland, 63-yard pick six, now has the most pick sixes in a season. 5 pick sixes. Incredible. Deron Bland, Deron Bland? I don't want to get it wrong. The only reason he's playing is because Trayvon Diggs is out. Absolutely balling. Absolutely performing to his highest capable standards. I mean, this Cowboy defense is going to go down as history as one of the best defenses of all time. Just immaculate stuff from this Cowboys defense. I will say, the Commanders will touch on their offense. I mean, Sam Howell, 300 yards and a pick. Not very pretty. Did rush for 13 yards and a touchdown, though. But, just your passing leader. He's your passing leader, but he's kind of like when Jameis Winston threw for like 5,000 yards. He had 30 touchdowns, or he had like 50 touchdowns or something. He also had 15 picks. So pretty icky stuff there. Or was it? He threw for 50 touchdowns and 30 picks. I can't remember that season, but Sam Howell, not the highest stuff today. Brian Robinson Jr., 53 yards rushing. Curtis Samuel, 9 catches, 100 yards. John Dotson, 5 catches, 52 yards. Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, 4 catches, 50 yards. Everyone else got a couple passes, but just didn't do enough. Did not do enough. The Cowboys, though, Dak Prescott, 331 yards and 4 touchdown passes. Tony Pollard rushes for 79 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Cooks, 72 yards on 4 catches for a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 4 catches, 53 yards and a touchdown. Turpin, 1 catch for a touchdown. Dowell, 1 catch for a touchdown. Jake Ferguson, 1 catch, 35 yards. Yeah, everyone was catching passes for this team. Nothing to really touch on overall, but yeah, we'll get into our night game for Thanksgiving as the 49ers handle the Seahawks 31-13. Just another dominant showing, even more dominant, honestly, than the last one. Christian McCaffrey, 30.9 fantasy points, coming in clutch for me in fantasy, but also hurting me in fantasy. But I won in all leagues, so I won't really say I was hurt too bad. Debo, 22.4 points. The San Francisco defense drops 15 points. How about that? As for the Seahawks, Zach Charbonnet, the leading fantasy performer, went 9.8. Jason Myers got 8 fantasy points. Geno Smith, only 7.3. Ugh, atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. I'm actually realizing I didn't even touch on the Cowboys and the Commanders for their standings. Cowboys are 8-3, the best 5th seed. Definitely going to get the 5th seed for the NFC. I mean, this offense has put up 347, only given up 185. They're nearing plus 200 point differential. That's insane. 3-game win streak. They are looking just incredibly dominant. I've been loving what I'm seeing from the Cowboys. And they take on the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. So back to it, man. Cowboys probably going to get another dub there. As for the Commanders, they take on the Dolphins next week, which is not good news, as this is the worst defense in the league. They've given up 350 points. 350 points. Absolutely terrible. They have put up 246, which is not the best still, but I mean, what do you want? What do you want from me? Commanders suck. Back to the 49ers and Seahawks game, though. We'll wrap that one up but I mean, we'll just wrap it up because there's not much to say. There's not much to say. I mean, first quarter, I mean, it's 7-3 for the 49ers. Then the 49ers went on to put up 24 of their 31 points by halftime. Third quarter, though, it got close. It got somewhat close, Jordan Brooks got a pick 6. Jason Myers hit a field goal, and just like that, I mean, what was it, 16? No, it was 13. It was 13 to 24. It was 13-24 with some potential, and then Brandon Ayuk caught a touchdown pass. Okay, I was trying to figure out what exactly went wrong or went right for them, but I think we got it. Got it all down. 49ers handle the Seahawks. I mean, Brock Purdy, 209 yards, touchdown on a pick. Not the sexiest game, but I'll tell you who did have a sexy game. Christian McCaffrey, 19 rushes, 114 yards and 2 touchdowns, 5 catches, 25 yards. He was balling. Debo Samuel rushed 4 times for 15 yards and a touchdown. All right, and caught 7 catches for 79 yards. Brandon Ayuk, 2 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. How about that? George Kittle, only 3 catches for 19 yards. It's tough to be a George Kittle owner. Seahawks, man, Geno, only 180 yards and a pick. Nothing. Zach Charbonnet, 47 yards rushing. Geno rushed for 21. Nothing was going for him. DK Metcalf, 3 catches, 32 yards. T. Lockett caught 3 catches for 30 yards. I mean, Smith and Jigba, 2 catches, 41 yards. Just no one was able to get it going. Zach Charbonnet, 4 catches, led the team. Only 11 yards out of that, though. So, tough luck for them, man. Just not a good look. Seahawks are now 6-5 on a 2-game losing streak, minus 20-point differential. They'll keep their wings open or whatever as they take on the Cowboys. But I'd be scared of that Cowboys defense if I was them. It's looking ugly. As for the 49ers, I mean, plus 140-point differential. All right, absolutely incredible. 310 points put up, only 170 given up. They're now 8-3, 2 games ahead in the NFC West, 3-game winning streak. I mean, this team is looking mighty fine. That little 3-game stretch not hurting them at all. They'll take on the Eagles though next week. So, yeah, this offense better get locked in. Brock Purdy, you gotta lock in if you're facing this Eagles defense. They don't play around. Not much to say, man. Not much to say. These two teams will meet later on in the season, but as for now, the 49ers remain supreme. We had another. This is the divisional matchups. This was divisional matchup week, for goodness sake. As the Dolphins took on the Jets. The Dolphins took on the Jets, and the Dolphins won 34-13. Just a blowout. The closest game was the Packers and the Lions. That was the closest game of the week. Tyreek Hill, 25 fantasy points. Miami defense, 23 fantasy points. That was an unexpected blessing for me on after Thanksgiving. And Raheem Mostert, 21.4 points. Incredible stuff. Garrett Wilson trying his best with 17 fantasy points. The Jets defense put up 12 fantasy points. And Breece Hall, 11.9 fantasy points. Good, not that good. I mean, it was a pretty pitiful performance for the Jets. First quarter, 3-0. Jason Sanders kicked a field goal. And you're like, okay, it's not too bad. Tyreek Hill catches a touchdown pass. All right, but then guess what? The Jets D gets a pick 6. All right. What happens after that? The Jets get a pick 6. So I mean, it was 17-3 heading into halftime. Then it was 20-3. Jason Sanders doing an excellent job. Fourth quarter, though, Raheem Mostert punches in 2 touchdowns, just got out of control. Jets D couldn't do anything. Dolphins took over. Tua, 243 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks, though. That's Jets defense is very good. They just, when your offense, here's what I'll say about the Jets. I'll say it over and over again. When you have a great defense, their stats can often become mislooked at due to the fact how often they're on the field. Okay, this Jets offense just keeps giving them the ball. Raheem, though, an absolute stud, 94 yards rushing for 2 touchdowns. Jeff Wilson Jr., 56 yards rushing. He was getting in some touches. Only 4 Dolphins caught passes. Tyreek Hill, 9 catches, 102 yards, a touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 8 catches, 114 yards. Jeff Wilson, 3 catches, 17 yards. Smithy, what's his name? Donnie Smith, whatever, tight end, 1 catch, 10 yards. I mean, just Tyreek Hill's a stud. MVP race, if you ask me. Tim Boyle, 170 yards, touchdown, and 2 picks. Did just about the same as Zach Wilson, was taking some more risks. Breece Hall only rushed 25 yards. They only ran 10 rushing plays the whole game, so nothing was going on. Garrett Wilson, though, 7 catches, 44 yards, and a touchdown. Was looking good. Conklin, 4 catches, 33 yards. Breece Hall, though, 7 catches for 24 yards. A lot of dump-offs there. Wow, it sucks to be a Jets fan. I won't lie. I won't sugarcoat it. It sucks to be a Jets fan. 4-7, 4-game losing streak. You're nearing negative 100-point differential. I won't lie. You're near a negative 100-point differential. They have 163 points for, 238 points against. So it's a terrible offense. It's just nothing good to tell you. Just nothing good to tell you if you're a Jets fan. Let me just put it plainly. The Jets suck. All right, they'll play the Falcons though. Somewhat winnable game, but I'm picking the Falcons to win that one. We'll do my full predictions come Thursday, but as for now, definitely riding with the Falcons. As for the Dolphins, 8-3, 339 points for. This is easily the best offense in the league. It's incredible. It's just absolutely incredible. 251 points given up though. Kind of tough. Kind of not the best look. They're either 2 or 3 games ahead of the Bills though, which is good for them. 2-game win streak. This Dolphins team is looking studious. They take on the Commanders next week, and that's your number 1 offense, your number 32 defense. It should be a bloodbath for the Dolphins. A good thing. The Dolphins will be swimming in blood, not covered in blood. There's a difference. All right, let's move into Sunday. Thanksgiving came to an end, Black Friday came to an end, and we moved into yet another divisional matchup as the Steelers took on the Browns. An interesting matchup here for them as the Steelers come out on top 16-10. How about that? Pat Freiermuth returning 21 fantasy points for him. 21 fantasy points for the Steelers. Najee dropped 15.9, and Kenny Pickett had 11.62. Jamar Chase, 12.1. Jake Browning, John Browning, whatever the Bengals backup QB's name is, 11.98, and D Sample, 8.1. This was a snooze fest, an absolute snooze fest from these two teams. No scoring in the first, a field goal in the second, and a touchdown for the Bengals in the second quarter, the only touchdown they would score for the game. Third quarter, Najee punches in a touchdown, the only touchdown from the game. We get 3 field goals from both teams combined, two from the Steelers, 1 from the Bengals, and that was that. That was the game, just sleeping. I was sleeping through that game. Kenny Pickett, though, 270 yards throwing, no turnovers, not too bad. Najee Harris, 99 yards and a touchdown. Warren only rushed for 49 yards despite having the same amount of carries as Harris. Pat Freiermuth, though, 9 catches, 120 yards. Excellent stuff. George Pickens, 3 catches, 58 yards. Deontay Johnson, 4 catches, 50 yards. All trying their best to help out the team. And it worked. Steelers get a win. As for the Bengals, what was it? Jake Browning, whatever, 227 yards, touchdown on the pick. Only ran 11 rushing plays. Joe Mixon rushed for 16 yards. Browning rushed for 9. Oof. Jamar, 4 catches, 81 yards. Joe Mixon, 2 catches, 44 yards. T. Boyd, 3 catches, 23 yards. Yeah, nothing to really say. Bengals got locked down as expected. Steelers get a win. They're now second in the AFC North, 7-4. Despite having a negative 23-point differential. That is very fascinating now that I'm looking at it there. It's very fascinating. But you're looking right now, the Steelers are your number 5 seed in the playoffs right now. They're number 5 seed in the playoffs, and good stuff for the Steelers. As for the Bengals, 5-6, you now have a minus 30-point differential, 3-game losing streak. It's over. Your season's over, Bengals. I'll say, as a Vikings fan, I get to look at you and say, okay, you're 5-6. You have your backup QB in. You don't have Joe Burrow. You're just not going to do it. All right. And it's weird to think that this team has been passed now by the Colts, the Texans, probably going to be the Raiders soon, and definitely the Broncos. This Bengals team is falling apart, and it's just sad to see. Honestly, I could care less. If I'm being honest, I could care less. Next weekend, the Bengals will be taking on the Jaguars on Monday Night Football. At least they get to rest. You have to find some benefits for them. They get to rest. As for the Steelers, right back to work against the Cardinals. Another winnable game. The Steelers team, man. Despite having a terrible offense, this defense carrying the team, doing the best they can. Interesting to see what will happen next week. Jaguars and Texans was the next game that went on, and let me just tell you, this was a heater. This was a close one. Jaguars win 24-21. Trevor Lawrence, 24.56 fantasy points. Doing good. Calvin Ridley, 21.9. Loving it. Brandon McManus, the kicker, 13 fantasy points. How about that? CJ Stroud, though, 30 fantasy points. Nico Collins, 23.4. Tank Dell, 17.2. Incredible stuff fantasy-wise from this game. You love to see it. Actually, Devin Singletary was doing pretty good, too. First quarter, Brandon kicking a 40-yard field goal. Trevor Lawrence then punched in a tutty in the second quarter. Tank Dell caught a touchdown pass, and Brandon McManus made it 13-3. Heading into the third quarter, when C.J. Stroud ran in a touchdown, making it 13-10. Calvin Ridley catches a touchdown. It was 21-10. Actually, was it? It was 21-14, doing my math correctly. I don't even know what happened. Oh, there was a 2-point conversion. That's what happened. Fourth quarter, Looms field goal from the Jaguars give them a 24-14 lead. Nico Collins catches a 17-yard pass from C.J. Stroud, but the Jaguars defense comes up big in the end to make the final stand. Trevor Lawrence, 364 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Doing his work. Travis Etienne, though, on 20 rushes, only 56 yards. He was held in check. T-Law punched in a running touchdown as well. Receiving-wise, Calvin Ridley, 5 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Was looking beautiful. Evan Ingram, 5 catches, 49 yards. Not too bad. Christian Kirk, 4 catches, 89 yards. Yeah, but typical stuff. Not much to say. Travis Etienne, 4 catches, 30 yards. Jaguars team getting it done. As for the Texans, C.J. Stroud is stealing Rookie of the Year. He's just stealing it out of thin air. 304 yards, 2 touchdowns. ran for 47 yards and a touchdown. He's incredible. Devin Singletary, 54 yards on 6 catches, and he rushed for 18 yards. Valuable weapon. Nico Collins, 7 catches, 104 yards and a touchdown. Tank Dell, 5 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown. Robert Woods, 2 catches for 40 yards. Man, this Texans team, despite coming off a loss, they're plus 27 point differential, 6-5, third in the AFC South. They're finding their groove. This young blood of a team is finding themselves. I'm really liking it. As for the Jags, 8-3, they're technically the second best team in the. Oh, I don't know. I think the Chiefs are actually better than them. Actually, the Dolphins might be better too. But guess what? Jaguars, top of the AFC South, tied for second in the AFC in general. I mean, they're doing their thing. Plus 19 plus 29 point differential. The Jaguars are doing what they can with what they can. Next weekend, they take on the Bengals on Monday Night Football, as we touched on. A very winnable game for them. And the Texans take on the Broncos. Ooh, that's right. Okay, as we said that, I'm literally going to my fantasy lineup right now. Okay. Ooh, this is a tough spot for me, boys, because I can either play C.J. Stroud or Trevor Lawrence. Or no. Trevor Lawrence is locked in. What was my option? Oh, it's Justin Herbert or C.J. Stroud. I might put in C.J. Stroud, man. I mean, he's just been playing like a dog lately. Herbert had a rough game. I'm going to change that right now. We'll see if I regret that as we move on to the Colts and the Buccaneers new game. Colts won 27-20. How about that? The Buccaneers lose another close one, and the Colts now find themselves in a good position. How about that? Colts are now 6-5 with a plus 1 point differential, second in the AFC South on a 3-game winning streak. Following this loss, though, the Buccaneers, the fall-off has been hard and fast as they have lost 2 straight, 4-7 overall, minus 15 point differential. Buck season's probably over. Mike Evans, though, putting up 25 fantasy points. Baker Mayfield, 13.36. And Rashad White, 13. Jonathan Taylor, 21 fantasy points. Michael Pittman, 20. And Gardner Minshew, 14.64. How about that? Big first quarter, 10-3 as Jonathan Taylor gives them the lead in the first quarter. Then second quarter, both teams score a touchdown. And, heading into halftime, it was looking pretty good, 17-10. It was close. Makes it 20-10 with a Matt Gay field goal in the third. But then Mike Evans' touchdown complicated things. It was 17-20. And then the Jonathan Taylor bunch-in gave them the lead, 27-17. Chase McLaughlin. I have no idea how to do math, clearly, but the Colts get it done. Good win for them. Baker, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Average day. Rashad White, 100 yards rushing. Mike Evans, 6 catches for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns, an absolute stud. Godwin, 3 catches, 45 yards. Not much going on for the Bucs. This Bucs team is honestly, they shouldn't be as bad. I feel like maybe they should be as bad as they are. I don't know. Gardner Minshew, 251 yards and interception. Typical backup QB. Jonathan Taylor, 91 yards and 2 touchdowns, was a stud. Actually, Minshew rushed for a touchdown, too. How about that? Pittman, though, 10 catches for 107 yards. Josh Downs even grabbed 5 catches for 43 yards. Pretty decent team. Colts team getting it done week in, week out. Colts will play the Titans. Another winnable game for them. As for the Buccaneers, they'll play the Panthers. Wow. Winnable games next week for both of these teams. Well, we'll see if they can capitalize. Divisional matchup, all right, it's happening next up as we had the Falcons take on the Saints. Falcons win 24-15. How about that? The Falcons freaking win. I can't believe it. Chris Olave, 18.4 fantasy points. The kicker grew up 18 fantasy points. Kamara, 15.9. Bijan, a nasty 27.3 fantasy points. Drake London's 14.1 and Desmond Ridder, 9.72. Yeah, nothing much to say. It was a close battle. It was 21-15 with under 2 minutes left. Younghoe Koo nailed the field goal to seal the game for the Falcons. Derek Carr, 304 yards and an interception. Alvin Kamara rushed for 69 yards. Chris Olave caught 7 catches for 114 yards. No touchdowns from this team. Taysom Hill had 2 catches for 55 yards. Actually rushed 7 times for 26 yards. He's a very valuable asset. Yeah, the Saints team, not good, actually. Very surprising. Desmond Ridder, 168 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. Not really a good day. This defense is what really came up big. Bijan Robinson, 91 yards and a touchdown, and 3 catches for 32 yards and a touchdown. Bijan went nasty. Drake London caught 5 catches for 91 yards. It was Ty Algier who rushed 10 times for 64 yards. A good win for the Falcons. They're now at top of the NFC South. Both of them and the Saints are 5-6. Yeah, they're just not good teams. The NFC South is actually atrocious at the moment. It's actually wide open. The Bucs could still find their way to win it. As for now, Falcons are on top. Falcons are on top. Falcons will take on the Jets next week. Winnable game for them, and the Saints will take on the Lions. Definitely riding with the Lions in that matchup. What I thought was worst game of the week, but turned out to not be the worst game of the week. We'll get to that in a minute. But the Giants beat the Patriots 10-7. Ramondre Stevenson, 21.7 fantasy points. New England defense, 13 fantasy points. And Mario Douglas, 10.9. Jay Hyatt gets 15.9. Giants defense, 13. And Tommy DeVito, 10.24 in this close game. Touchdown in the second quarter was the only touchdown the Giants would score. And in the third quarter, Ramondre Stevenson punched a touchdown. All tied up, but with just about 8 minutes left in the fourth, Randy Bullock got a field goal, and that was all that happened the rest of the freaking game. I think a kicker missed. I think the Patriots kicker missed to tie the game or something, if I'm recalling it correctly. But man, don't blink now. Giants, 2-game win streak, 4-8. Third in the NFC East, 159 points for, 290 points against. Yeah, this team sucks. There's no sugarcoating it. You know, you can't even sugarcoat it. It's just a bad team. They're just a bad team. But you know what? They got a fan base. Who cares? As for the Patriots, 4-game losing streak, 2-9, have only scored 148 points this year. This is the worst team. I think they'd lose to the Panthers, if I'm being honest. This Patriots team is really bad. Mac Jones, 89 yards, 2 picks, gets benched. Bailey Zappi, 54 yards, a pick. Holy cow, that's terrible. Ramondre Stevenson, the only good part about this team, 98 yards, a touchdown. Demario Douglas, 6 catches, 49 yards. That's it. Ramondre Stevenson had 5 catches for 9 yards. Just nothing to say. Tommy DeVito, 191 yards, a touchdown, making the Mafia proud. Saquon rushed for 46 yards. Hyatt, 5 catches, 109 yards. It was actually Isaiah Hodgins who caught the lone touchdown on his only catch. Nothing to say. Literally nothing to say. We're actually going to move on. That game is just so atrocious. Actually, anyone have a bye next week? Giants are on a bye. Patriots play the Chargers. Maybe the Chargers can win that game. We'll see. Titans beat the Panthers 17-10. Chuba Hubbard drops 20 fantasy points. Jay Mingo, 10. Bryce Young, 8. Derrick Henry finally returned to his prowess with 20 fantasy points, but he was on my bench, so to little avail. Tennessee defense, 11. And Chikonko, whatever their tight end's name is, got 8.5. So pretty irrelevant. All the points for the Titans were scored in the first half. It was 17-3. Chuba Hubbard scored in the third. Titans D came up big. Bryce Young, 194 yards passing. Chuba, 45 yards rushing, and a touchdown. Chuba, 5 catches, 47 yards. Yeah, it's a bad Panthers team. I think Adam Thielen had 1 catch. Will Levis, 185 yards. Derrick Henry led the day, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns. Passing-wise, yeah, no one really did anything. It's just a doozy of a game, if I'm being honest. Titans 4-7, minus 30 point differential, bottom of the NFC South. Titans, your season's sadly over. And I'll tell you whose season been over. That is the worst team in the NFL. The number 1 pick last year, the Panthers, 1-10. Minus 100 and 18 point differential, 4-game losing streak. I don't know if the Panthers will win a game the rest of the season. They're bad. They're freaking really bad. I'll tell you who's not bad, but back. Kyren Williams leading the Rams to a 37-14 victory on his 38.4 fantasy points. Incredible. Matt Stafford, 23.36, and Tyler Higbee, 19.9. Kyler Murray actually dropped a 20-point fantasy bomb. Marquise Brown, 14, and Trey McBride, 13. Wow. Kyren Williams back to his old ways. Matthew Stafford, 4 touchdown passes and a pick on 229 yards. Kyren Williams rushed for 143. Royce Freeman actually rushed for 77 and a touchdown. Tutu Atwell, 3 catches for 76 yards. Kyren Williams, 6 catches, 61 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Good stuff for him. Higbee actually caught 2 touchdowns on 5 catches for 29 yards. Puka Nacua, only 4 catches, 27 yards. Cooper Kupp, only 3 catches, 18 yards. They suck. They freaking suck. I won't lie. Puka and Cooper have fallen off. It's weird. Kyler Murray, 256 yards and a touchdown. Rushed for a touchdown. James Conner, 6 rushes for 27 yards. I mean, not much. Not much to say about the receiving core either. I mean, Cardinals are pitiful. 2-10. Minus 115 point differential, 2-game losing streak. As for the Rams, 2-game win streak, 5-6. Third in the FC West, trying to sneak into a playoff spot. Potentially. Minus 2 point differential, though. Not too bad, but not necessarily shiny, if I'm being honest. Browns and Bengals, Broncos and Browns were the ones that faced off. And let me just tell you, wow. I don't know how this Broncos team continues to do it, but they win 29-12. And the Broncos are now 6-5 on a 5-game win streak. They were 1-5. Have completely flipped their season around. All right, and after giving up 70 points, point differential is now only at minus 34. They're working their way back. They honestly are. Browns, 7-4, plus 30 point differential. This did hurt, but they are tied with the Steelers. We'll see what happens. And Njoku and Ford both had 11.9 fantasy points. Wilson had 16. Denver D 15. Probably the only highlight of the game. I mean, it was just a great defensive game from the Broncos. I mean, marching down the field, keeping the ball. Good win for the Broncos, man. If I'm being honest, good win for them. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, 134 yards and a touchdown. Came out. PJ Walker, 56 yards thrown. I mean, nothing much. Jerome Ford, the only good part of the team. Rushed for 65 yards. Had 4 catches, 14 yards. I don't know. Offense of the Browns is what will lose them games, not their defense. Russell Wilson only threw for 134 yards and a touchdown, but he did run in a touchdown, and so did Samajin Perine. Devontae Williams, 65 yards rushing on 18 attempts. Not too much. Cortland Sutton, 3 catches, 61 yards. It was the tight end Troutman who caught the lone touchdown. Good for him. But yeah, Broncos, second in the AFC West. Incredible stuff from them. Incredible stuff. The Broncos will take on the Texans next week. That should be a very good game, if I'm being honest. As for the Browns, they will meet with the Rams. I'm actually favor the Rams in that matchup. Now that I'm thinking about it. I might favor the Rams in that matchup. We'll see. Let's get into our 3:30 games as the Chiefs took on the Raiders, win 31-17, but it's a gritty matchup. Let me just tell you, it was a grind for this Chiefs team, okay? Now, this team is good. Chiefs are now 8-3, 256 points for, 181 points against. It's a good defense. Raiders 5-7, they do have a minus 54 point differential, so not pretty, 2-game losing streak, but they gave them a run for their money. Isaiah Pacheco, though, 25 fantasy points. Rashee Rice, 24 fantasy points. Mahomes, 20 fantasy points. Josh Jacobs, 22 fantasy points. Jacoby Myers, 20. Aiden O'Connell, 13.92. He's trying. Aiden's trying, okay? We'll give him that. But there was one point in the freaking game. I mean, Raiders had 17. It was 17-21. They were behind. Fell apart in the fourth, though. That was tough. Mahomes, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, doing his thing. Pacheco, 55 yards rushing for 2 touchdowns. Incredible. Rashee Rice, 8 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown. Kelsey, 6 catches for 91 yards. Still the best tight end in the league. Aiden O'Connell, 248 yards throwing, threw for a touchdown, no picks. Josh Jacobs, 110 yards and a touchdown on 20 rushes. He's truly the team. Jacoby Myers, 6 catches, 79 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, 5 catches for 73 yards. Doing his thing. Doing his freaking thing, man. The NFL has just been electric this season. And you know what? The Chiefs never disappoint. The Chiefs always deliver a barn burner. Top of the league for them. Good job for them. Raiders get a bye next week. The Chiefs travel to Green Bay to take on the Packers. I really hope Mahomes gives it to the Packers. The game of the week. It was an absolute banger. I didn't really catch too many games this past week. Kind of busy working on some homework, working on playing things out. But this was an absolute heater of a game. Eagles beat the Bills in overtime, 37-34. Incredible game. We'll touch on the records real quick before we get into these fantasy performances. Bills are now 6-6, okay? Plus 101 point differential. They'll probably make they're have to grind for the playoffs. They're now competing for a playoff spot with the Texans, the Colts, and the Broncos. All right, the race just tightened up. Only 3 of you can get in. There's a lot competing. We'll see though. It's going to be close. As for the Eagles, the best team in professional football. I love it. I just love it. I love to see it. I love they're 10-1. This team has just been immaculate all year long. Game in, game out. The defense is good. The offense is good. Just everything about this team just is good. But I don't really want them to win, the Super Bowl per se. I know I always want the Vikings to win. But I like this team better than last year's team for some reason. I don't know why. Eagles 10-1, 310 points for. The 246 points against is pretty brutal, but the offense makes up for it. 5-game winning streak. This team's been looking amazing. Josh Allen, though, 39.66 fantasy points. Gabe Davis, 22.5. Stephon Diggs, 19.4. Jalen Hurts, 34.5 fantasy points. I had Jalen Hurts and I was playing Josh Allen. It was history-making matchup. Devontae Smith, 23.6. A.J. Brown, 14.7. But this was the Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts show. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Just my freaking goodness. And fourth quarter alone, we had 3 touchdowns. Overtime, it was 37-34, and Jalen Hurts marches down the field and runs in a 12-yard touchdown to win it. It was bad. The script was good this week, guys. The script was good for this game. Josh Allen, 339 yards throwing, 2 touchdowns and a pick. 81 yards rushing for 2 touchdowns. Incredible. James Cook, only 43 yards on the ground. Gabe Davis, 6 catches, 105 yards and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 6 catches, 74 yards and a touchdown. And actually, James Cook had 6 catches for 57 yards. Got to shout them all out. Jalen Hurts, though, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did throw another pick, but the MVP race still open. Punched in 2 touchdowns on the ground. DeAndre Swift rushed for 80 yards. Devontae Smith, 7 catches, 106 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, 5 catches, 37 yards and a touchdown. And Zacchaeus, 1 catch for 29 yards and a touchdown. You know what? This Eagles team is looking phenomenal. I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. And they're back to it. They're back to it next weekend. They do take on the 49ers. A tough matchup. That'll be a great game. As for the Bills, they get a much-needed bye week. The Bills really got to assess what they're freaking doing. They have just been... honestly, we have the same record as the Vikings have the same record as the Bills. That does not feel right. That does not feel right in the slightest. Sunday Night Football, a snooze fest. I won't lie. It was a snooze fest. 20-10, Ravens beat the Chargers. Zay Flowers, 23.2 fantasy points. Baltimore D, 16. Lamar Jackson, 14.98. Keenan Allen, 22.6 fantasy points. Joe Everett, 14. Justin, 13. Just nothing much to say here. Nothing much to say. It was 10-3 at the half. Then it was 13-3. Then it was 13-10. And then Zay Flowers ran in a 37-yard run to secure the victory for the Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens are now sitting at a lovely 9-3, the second best team in the league, the best team in the AFC. Incredible stuff. 324 points for, 187 points against, 2-game win streak. This is an excellent team, guys. Honestly, Lamar's been performing well, sharing the ball, getting it done to the rookies, getting it done to the OGs and Odell Beckham, doing their thing. That's our Chargers, 4-7 with a plus 11 point differential. Incredible. A terrible team with a positive point differential. They just lose close games. 3-game losing streak now. It's tough to be a Chargers fan. But let me just before I touch on the stats for the games, that the Chargers, they play the freaking, the Patriots next week. Such a winnable game from the worst team in the league. Easily. They can easily win that game. The Ravens, though, they get a bye week. So it'll be interesting to see how they come back in week 14 after the bye. But yes, Lamar Jackson, 177 yards and a touchdown. Rush for 39 yards. Zay Flowers, 1 rush for 37 yards. Got a touchdown. It was incredible. Gus Edwards kind of put on the side for this game. Didn't do much. Isaiah Likely, 4 catches, 4 yards. But it was Zay Flowers, 5 catches, 25 yards, a touchdown. Zay Flowers was the man of the hour for this game. That's for the Chargers. Justin Herbert, 217 yards, touchdown and a pick. Was fumbling. Herbert had 4 rushes for 47 yards. Eckler only rushed for 30 yards. Keenan Allen, the best player, 14 catches, 106 yards. Gerald Everett, the lone man to catch a touchdown. But, Chargers, season's probably over. If you could just string together wins, you guys would be so good, but you're not gonna. Ravens are taking over. The Ravens came to take over, and they did. They're looking nasty. Monday Night Football, I hate that we have to end the week with the Vikings losing. But you know what? All in a day's work. Vikings lose to the Bears 12-10 in the worst game of the week. This game sucked. So not only did we lose, but it was a terrible game. That's always a doozy. Despite the loss, I mean, Vikings are still plus 21 point differential, 6-6, still in the playoffs currently. Still in the playoffs. Bears are 4-8 with a minus 54 point differential. Not too shabby, Bears. Not too shabby. DJ Moore, 22.4 fantasy points. Chicago D, 15 points. And Carlos Santos, 13 points. That's right. Bears didn't even get a touchdown. TJ Hawkinson, 16 fantasy points. Minnesota defense, 10. Jordan Addison, 9.9 in this snooze fest. Let me recap the game. No one scored in the first. We both got a field goal in the second. The Bears got a field goal in the third. The Bears got a field goal in the fourth. We got a touchdown. We were winning. And then we give up a kick with 10 seconds left to lose the game in typical Minnesota Vikings history. All right. Justin Fields, 217 yards. He did fumble, though. Ran for 59 yards. Rashawn Johnson rushed for 35 yards. Khalil Herbert rushed for 25 yards. Nothing. It was DJ Moore, 11 catches, 114 yards. And Cole Kmet, 7 catches, 43 yards. That looked the best for the offense. As for the defense of the Bears was insane. They pick off Josh Dobbs 4 times. Josh Dobbs, 185 yards, a touchdown, 4 picks. Oh boy, he's getting benched next week. Madison rushed for 52 yards. Just nothing. TJ Hawkinson, 5 catches, 50 yards, a touchdown. The only good you could even look at. Honestly, Brandon Powell, though, 3 catches, 44 yards. He was doing good. Jordan Addison, 6 catches, 39 yards. A couple of deep balls didn't work out for him. Man, nothing to say. Just speechless. I'm speechless at how poor it went. It just makes me sad. Makes me sad as a Vikings fan seeing us just fall apart. And then I fall apart. Whatever, how it goes, I don't know. I don't even care. Makes me sad. Oh, man. Next weekend, the Vikings on a bye. And when we return week 14, though, Justin Jefferson will be back. We'll be back. We'll be furious. We'll be angry. We'll be ready for revenge. Bears also on a bye week. But on week 14, stay tuned. Vikings will return against the Raiders, and we're going to Las Vegas. All right, I'm excited. I'm excited to get to go on a little trip for the Vikings. I'm not, but the Vikings are. And as for the Bears, they will meet the Lions, and hopefully the Lions will beat them. They almost lost last time. Lions, Bears are now my op. Honestly, Lions aren't even my op. It's the Bears. I can't believe we lost. Plus, my whole family's Bears fans, so I don't even get to brag that the Vikings beat them. It is what it is. But yeah, that's all I got for this episode, guys. A lot of stuff, a lot of football, about 45 minutes of football for you. But this was a fun one, talking about Christmas songs, college football, movies, UFC news, all sorts of fun stuff. And, the next time I talk to you Thursday will be my final day of classes, which kind of makes me sad. I've just had such a blast with everyone I've met that it's bittersweet, but it'll be a good way to round things off. We'll look at UFC Austin. We'll look at all sorts of things. But as for now, guys, I hope you were surprised. I hope you were jabbed, and I'll catch you next time on the Surprise Jab Podcast. Have a good one, boys.